Okay, can you hear me now? Check, 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 check. Is there sound? Is there sound? Okay, okay, okay. Stand by. Okay. Sorry, is a Mac issue. Apparent. Okay, so let me just pull up the charts. Sorry about that. I'm gonna start all over again in just 1 second. Okay. Oh, geez. Okay, sorry. I had to restart the computer so everything is like, oh my God, like everything is, all my data is, okay. 1 second. Okay, all right. Just one more second and we'll be ready. All right, can you see this? Can you see the charts? I think you can see the charts, right? You can see the charts on the screen? I think so. Okay. All right. So let's just get okay. Okay. Let me do a quick let me start from the beginning. Okay, welcome back everybody to the Sunday night chart chat. We'll be talking about 10x to 100x super stocks. The market is bottoming out. This is the stuff that we've been talking about for the last couple of weeks. The process has really been going on for the last 3 weeks or so. I think this is actually it. As you can see, we actually have a new trend that is starting. Let me just pull this up right here. As you can see, this is the NASDAQ chart, which is a disruptive innovation, right? And finally, for the first time since January, it is above the moving average, just slightly. I mean, so we're just, this could have been a V-shaped bottom. We'll find out, but the trend looks it looks pretty like a very powerful move the last 5 days. So things are definitely starting to look good. Now, could things still drop? Very possibly. We'll know this week, but in theory, the market is still in a downtrend. It's still in this downtrend. It's breaking above the moving average. We'll see basically the next few days if it confirms or not. Bottom line is what I was saying earlier is that the most important thing is that the stocks kind of in our group, these penny stocks, these have definitely bottomed out, or they're in the process of bottoming out. I don't see these things getting any cheaper. I mean, if you look at these charts, which we're going to run through, I mean, it's really just classic bottoms over here. Of course, nothing here is investment advice. Let me just run a little disclaimer at the bottom of the screen. So yeah, there we go. Yeah, so this is a little bit of a disclaimer. Yeah, anyway, look, this is, if you're brand new to the program, this is, I mean, I'm a little bit biased, but I would say this is the number one live stream show, whatever you want to call it, which has the most incredible, bestest track record of all time in the microcap world, or maybe anything else. I mean, look at some of these winners. I'm not even talking about some of the, the doubles, triples, 5Xs. I don't even count those stocks. For example, the last few months has been a little bit rough. Like, it's been a rough market. In a bear market, which we've had in the last 12 months, it's hard to get momentum. So I think the only real winner we have had in the last 6 months has been Organic Garage. We introduced that at 35 cents. It went to 70 cents in 30 days. So it was definitely on track, right? Quick, fast double. Everything is working right. Things kind of got a little bit derailed, and now it's getting back on track. We'll look at that chart. But yeah, I wouldn't even call that a winner. I don't consider a stock that doubles to be a success story. I do believe that OG is eventually is going to go to, I don't know, $2.50, $5, whatever the number is. But yeah, there's a lot of catalysts. We'll talk about that in a bit. But yeah, so look, it's a very interesting time we're in right now. It's sort of, you have all these black swans that have, it's like a flock of black swans that have all kind of been landing here. You've had the pandemic, you've had, now you have the inflation, you have, you got, Joe Biden, you got World War III. I mean, literally what's going on in Ukraine is, it's basically World War III, because you have, you got the Russia invaded Ukraine, everybody's involved, China's involved, you got sanctions on, literally everybody has, gotten involved in this one way or the other. So yeah, it's definitely, and you know what? I mean, this, it's interesting. The market right now, it's picked up. Maybe, I guess the market has discounted the war. I think, look, this thing could drag on for quite a while. I mean, I think the only thing that might stop it is, I mean, hey, if the Russians run out of ammunition, is it possible? I mean, they're taking massive casualties, but hey, listen, Putin can't afford to lose. He definitely doesn't want to. I mean, that's going to be the end. So can he go nuclear? Very possible. I mean, look, we have a very unfortunate situation. There's really, no leadership. The U.S. I mean, it's kind of it's embarrassing to say, but America is essentially a joke right now. With you got the guy who's senile. You got this, I don't know what the vice president, who's basically retarded. I mean, it's embarrassing. And you know what? The other Western leaders are not that much better. I mean, they've really screwed up this whole thing. There was really no reason for this war in the Ukraine. You're going to have thousands of people dying, and it's going to have a massive impact, because you don't have just this war in the Ukraine, oil prices go, but what does Russia and Ukraine produce? You're right. You got grain, wheat exports, sunflower oil, right? I mean, so you're going to have massive. You could have, they're already starting to have food shortages in a lot of these third world countries, like in the Middle East. I think the Lebanese and the Egyptians import a lot of wheat from the Ukraine, and I think they're starting to ration. Egypt is a big country. I mean, do we need another revolution in the Middle East? Yeah. So I mean, this is kind of like the start of a lot of things which we don't even know how they're going to end up. So there's going to be a lot of shit that will hit the fan, so to speak. And look, I mean, I think this is what we got to deal with. However, the good news is, I mean, based on these charts, it looks like there's money to be made here. And, I think it's really your duty, look, is, whatever you can do, to help out the situation in Ukraine, whatever it is, or wherever it is in your community, whatever, you should definitely do it. But it is your duty to, make money with these stocks. I mean, because it's, you can only do what you can do. So let me get into, I've got a bunch of questions in the, I'm going to address all the comments and everything in just a second. But yeah, so anyway, look, I think the bottom line is you guys are very lucky to be watching this program, the #1 live stream to make money, 10x, 50x, soon to be 100 baggers. We're going to be introducing a stock this week, which I believe can be a 100x. This is a stock that's under 20 cents right now, under 25 cents. I don't want to give you the exact price because I know people kind of look these things up. I'm not going to show the chart. There's a lot of very clever people. So yeah, it's under a quarter. Massive catalyst. I actually met with their team. I mean, I don't want to get into. I don't want to give too many details because I don't want people to figure it out yet. But let's just say the team of this company. I met with them. I had dinner with them a few weeks ago, and it is. I mean, look, these guys. The winners produced 30x, 50x wins on Nasdaq. So not some penny stock bullshit. Real things. I've actually written a substantial check into a private placement of this company. So I'm extremely motivated with this deal. I think it's going to be a massive winner. Easily going to be, again, I don't want to say easily, but I think this could be a potentially very, very quick path to a 10x, 20x. And if they really hit their milestones, 100x is not out of the question. When you see the chart, I'm going to share that chart of that stock with you. It looks exactly like, CBDT, all these other things, where, one of my theories is a lot of times when a chart is bottomed out, the stocks can always go back to their old highs, because the path has been kind of paved already. So it's easy, not easy, but there's a way for them to get there. So I'm going to introduce that stock on Telegram. If you want to get that stock, click in the video description below. There's a thing called Wall Street Reporter links, and there's going to be a link to our Telegram channel, also our Discord, all that other stuff, and it's going to be great. Tesla, yeah. Oh wow, yeah. Thank you for watching and being a supporter of the channel, as they say on YouTube. And if you're not a supporter of the channel, anybody who's watching, click the link. The subscribe and the like link, all that good stuff. We've been talking about Tesla. It's funny. I'm going to be talking about Tesla, a couple of other stocks which are bellwether stocks in the sort of in the innovation sector space. And let's take a look. So let me kind of start off with the big picture, then we'll dive into all the details, all where the real money is going to be made. But first, we got to look at the real big picture. Okay, let me get my face off the screen here, and let me just change up these little banners so you can see better. And okay, so we got Nasdaq right now. You can see it's trying to break above this 50-day moving average. I think it's probably going to happen. I mean, I think it's probably going to happen. This could have been the bottom. I mean, it looks like a nice V-shaped bottom. So things are looking pretty good in that sense over there. It closed just above. So it's, it's a very tricky market. So anything can happen. Let's look at the 1-hour chart. Okay, there you go. It's in the green. By the way, if you are a subscriber to our Telegram channel, I put out a message on, let me just see, let me pull up my Telegram. What day was it? Last week or 10 days ago, roughly, right where the S&P was, and said something like, okay, this is it, because it was just starting to break out. And yeah, so look, here's the thing. When I do these videos, that's the information as it is, right? Like tomorrow something can change. Let's say Nasdaq goes below the moving average. It's a different, the trend has changed. So it's a different situation. That's why you want to be on our Telegram, because, we'll keep you updated. Anyway, right now, this thing is actually looking pretty good. This is the 1-hour chart. So, it's the trend is up, right? What can you, you can't fight the trend, right? Let me see the 4-hour, just for entertainment purposes. Yeah, this thing looks pretty legit. I think this could have been the bottom. I really was, I really thought that Nasdaq and the market would drop considerably further. So it's only been a 20% drop right now. Only a 20% drop. I actually thought it would drop at least 30%. So I'm happy to be wrong, or I could be wrong. We'll know in a little bit. Okay, let's go into the bellwether here. ARC. Again, I was really expecting it to drop a little bit further. I mean, I really think this could have dropped either into the, kind of 30 range or whatever. But here you have a level of support here. Okay, you got a level of support coming in, which is, yeah, right about here. You got a level of support. You got what looks like a V-shaped bottom. Almost, it's going to turn into like a head and shoulders. It's still below the moving average. Okay, it's still below the moving average, which it's been for several months now. So and the trend is still down, right? But we're going to see this week what happens. I mean, it may run out of steam. It could be a fake out. You don't know. We'll know. I mean, I am concerned. I am concerned that we might be seeing a fake out, which is very possible. It's happened multiple times. So again, bottom line is, no matter what I say about any stocks, if I'm telling you, hey, this is going to go to 100x, whatever it is, look at the moving average. I mean, if the stock is below the 50-day moving average, let's say, you don't want to be. I mean, you could take a chance, but you really want to be buying when it breaks above the 50-day moving average. And again, once a stock breaks below the 50-day moving average, yeah, you might want to sell it, right? Whatever it is. So right now, a lot of our stocks are below the 50-day moving average. So, but they're coming back up. So we're starting to bottom out again. If you take again, you could take a shot here and buy these things before they break above the moving average. It's a bigger risk, but yeah, I mean, I think ARC is actually looking pretty good. Let me look at the 1-hour chart. So yeah, I mean, this actually looks really strong, really strong. It's a crazy bottom. It's like this V-shaped bottom. This could be it. And I tell you, it's looking looks pretty strong. That's all I will say. Okay, let's look at Tesla. Again, one of the bellwethers in the innovation space. And again, I was saying, was it 2 weeks ago, whatever it was, before it started going, I was actually expecting it to drop, as low as maybe into the 350 range. It's not happening. It's not happening. It doesn't want to go down. Really powerful move right here. It broke right above this moving average. So tomorrow, if it closes, let's say 920, 910, the trend is up. So I think we could see an incredible week this week. It could be very, very interesting. What else should we be looking at? Let me give you a couple more bellwethers, and then we'll go into our stocks. So here is TDOC, which was one of the big leaders in the disruptive innovation. And I think this thing has actually bottomed. It's bounced. Look at this. This is the bottom. And we were talking about this bottom here. Okay, so really, it's like, no, okay, so you got a few. No, I didn't do it right. Okay, so how do I do this? Clear drawings. Okay, so really, you're looking at basically roughly right about there. I mean, more or less, and because you can see it hit that level a couple times. Could be maybe a little bit lower. It's not exact, but it bounced right off, and you got this V shape. It hasn't broken above the moving average yet. Now, if you look at the 4-hour, it has. So this is the short term. Tomorrow, the trend is very, very strong. I mean, it might, I don't know, drop a little bit in the morning, but yeah, this thing is really, really strong. Now, let me pull up XBI. Why am I showing you the biotech index? Because we have a couple of massive winners, potential winners, I should say, in the biotech sector, including PHRX and the new stock debuting this week, possibly in the biotech space. But yeah, anyway, so the biotech is also breaking out of this. It's been in a downtrend since last year, since last February, and now we are breaking above the moving average. Let's see if it holds. I think it will. This is actually, I think we've seen kind of a long-term bottom here. If you look at the last 2-3 years, it's pretty much it right there. So, I mean, I could draw you a trend line just for entertainment purposes. So you got, that's one, right? Then you got another one here. So this is the first level of support, which basically it's bouncing off. You got another one substantially lower, but yeah, this is biotech is I think looking very good, and yeah, PHRX, which we're going to be looking at in just a second. So here's what's important. Thank you for the $5 super chat, King of K-Town. This will help pay our electric bill this month, and for the dial-up internet connectivity, which we need, the AOL dial-up. Yeah, so basically here's what's going on. PHRX, lots of milestones coming up, which could really reprice the stock. So, it's got to just get some decent results, show some good studies, and you could see, stock is what, it's 4 cents, 3 cents, 4 cents. We could see this thing, what is it? It's a 20 million market cap, whatever the number is. It could be a 5x very quickly, 10x. So can this go to $1? Possibly, if they really, hit it. We will see. So I'm going to go into that in just a second. Let me just finish up with the trends. Okay, so yes. So those are the trends. Those are the big things. Okay, let's dive into PHRX since we got a super chat. I have to kind of, I gotta do this. Okay, so what's going on with the chart? I'm only talking about the chart right here, not about the fundamentals. Again, what I do like about this is that, look, we've seen this thing have massive runs very quickly, very sudden, these, parabolic moves basically. And, you can see the stock went from like 3 cents to 20 cents in 6 weeks. Now, again, this was last year. It was a very different market, but still. And then again, it also happened earlier, the year earlier, went from, less, from like 2 cents to 12 cents or whatever the number was. And okay, so this is where it started trading. I guess it was a shell merge or whatever it may have been. But again, I always believe a stock can always go back to those old highs. So can it go to 49 cents? Yeah, I think it can. I think you got a kind of this massive double bottom happening here. A lot of support in this kind of 4 cent, 3 cent range. It's still below the moving average, which is 4.5 cents. It's got to break above. I think it's got to break above 5 cents to really gain momentum. And really, I think probably the next level after that is 6 cents. And again, this sounds like 5 cents, these penny increments. It sounds, but if anybody remembers CBDT, the way that one worked is it's a stock we introduced at a nickel, and for that thing to move to go from 5 cents to 6 cents to 7 cents, it was such a grind for that stock to go there, and then finally went to 10 cents. And I remember putting out a tweet that said, hey, now it's 10 cents, 10 cent stocks become 25 cent stocks, or 15, 25. And once they're at 25, then it's 50 cents. And 50 cents, basically, you're on the road to $1. By the way, look, now the stock went from a nickel to 250. I'm not going to take credit for the stock going to 250 because after like $1, it just took a life of its own. But 50, I was really expecting it to go to 50 cents, 75 cents. But the market went a little bit crazy, which is good. Yeah. By the way, it's interesting. Yeah, there's a lot of people, not a lot of people, but there's a bunch of people a lot of people, there's a lot of different, shall we say, promoters out there, um, they all take credit because, a couple of these stocks, some of these companies use different, they use us, they use, I don't know, what is it? What's the other one called? Proactive investors. They use this guy, Gora, a couple of other guys out there, whatever it is, right? So and of course, so who use those company? CBDT, I think, used a couple of those guys. NEC, I mean, a bunch of them, used the different guys. And it's interesting that I won't mention the name of George. But yeah, some guys take credit. But here's what's interesting. There's an interesting phenomenon. What happens once a stock is no longer on Wall Street Reporter? Okay, 98% of the time, those stocks drop off, and I can go into the reasons later. So it is a phenomenon. So a stock runs up. Once they're no longer on Wall Street Reporter, the stock drops off. And usually that starts happening within like 30, 60 days. Sometimes they get some momentum, they keep going, and then they drop off. It's interesting. Now look at if you look at CBDT, you look at who else is using Fans Unite. What's the other one? HAPB. Who else is? So if you look at these, some of these promotional services that these companies are using, how come those stocks, they have no volume? They've gone nowhere ever since they're no longer on Wall Street Reporter. How come that's the case? If these guys, these so-called promoters are so effective, why aren't they able to move the stocks when the Wall Street Reporter is no longer involved? So it's interesting. But I'll tell you right now, what it really comes down to is this. I put this out on our Discord channel. I just had an epiphany because, why is this the case? Here is what happens. Now, by the way, Wall Street Reporter Online has been around since 1997. Okay, I'm doing this for a long time. We were the first guys doing online audio interviews. Back then, they didn't really have video. So it was streaming audio. And we interviewed thousands of public companies. We interviewed over 10,000 public companies. Back then, it was a different business model. We were not doing what I'm doing right now, but basically we just did these CEO interviews, and we interviewed, again, I think it was easily 6,000 or 8,000 public companies, over 10,000 interviews. Every company, New York Stock Exchange, NASDAQ, London Stock Exchange, globally, Sweden, everywhere, and major companies. Very different business model. We did these basic CEO informational interviews. I had a bunch of analysts. I think at the peak, I may have had like 50 employees. And it wasn't really, Wall Street Reporter was not really in the business of promotion. It was basically informational, sort of like like proactive investors who basically copied what we were doing. So if you look at Proactive, you look at, Agora, you look at, anybody doing these CEO interviews, essentially these guys copied what we were doing 25 years ago, essentially. Nobody else was doing it online back then. Wall Street Reporter was the first one, and it was huge. And it was very simple. Just charge the fee. It was a very simple business model. We weren't charging what we're doing now. And then I kind of got out of the business for a while, and I decided, I really missed the business of promoting stocks. And there's some great new technologies. I mean, the world is really very different now. Back then, 1997, the internet was hardly like, it was brand new. We still had a print publication. We had a magazine that came out every month. We did physical conferences in New York, huge conferences. We had hedge funds paying, $2,000 a person to attend our, the pipe and equity line conference, reverse merger conference, all this different stuff. And so a few years ago, I decided, look, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up with this concept of focusing only on super stocks, and I'm going to work with a handful of companies, finding a really good companies that have that 10x upside potential. I don't want to deal with a lot of staff. I can only do what I can handle with myself, maybe one or two freelancers, and just focus on massive upside type stocks. It could be anywhere. And I'll deal with, 8 companies, maybe 10, 12 companies at a time. I'm not looking to deal with a bunch. But here's the thing, the way we structure, our compensation is we get options, this, that, whatever. And the idea is we focus on a handful of companies and, throw everything at them and, help them become 10 baggers, 100 baggers, 50 baggers, whatever the number is. I don't mean to be like, I'm not boasting here or whatever, but, look, I literally wrote the book on stock promotion 15 years ago. At this point, I would say, I'm like the Elon Musk of stock promotion. Elon Musk is a genius in his world, in cars, jet, what is it? The rockets, crazy stuff, right? All I know how to do is promote stocks. I'm not that bright. Look, realistically, the track record that we've put together in the last 2 years using this philosophy, the next super stock philosophy, is unparalleled, right? And you're going to see more. This is not a one-shot deal. It's not luck, okay? Because there's a very consistent pattern. I can show you other stocks which from years back where we did exactly the same things, and you could see where those things went. So the thing is this, what it comes down to is, because I'm focused on a handful of companies, and these companies are paying a decent amount of money to be on the platform. Okay, not everybody can be on the platform. I don't just take anybody. I've turned down plenty of companies, and what it comes down to is standards, accountability, and expectations. Okay, it's a phenomenon, right? When somebody knows that that you have high standards for them, that you expect them to perform, to deliver 10x. Yeah, because look, I tell these CEOs before they get on our platform, I say, look, I'm only looking for stocks which have that 10x potential. You got to be very serious, and I expect you to have. Here's what I expect from you: we got to have news, a minimum 3 times a month. Okay, ideally 4 times a month. I'm not going to hold it against you if you do it 6 times. Okay, so sometimes you can have 2 releases a week. Okay, we have a system in place where we need a company with a great story, a CEO to tell the story. We need the news flow, because the news flow is important for everything else we do, which is, it's not these live streams. There's a lot of stuff we do, and the news flow is important because the news flow indicates to investors that a company is on the move, that there's momentum. I don't care what the news is. It doesn't have to be massive, it could be fluff. It's okay. But you got to have 2-3 pieces that show, legitimate milestones being met. The rest can be fluff, but you got to maintain you got to maintain that connection, with investors. You got to engage them. Okay. I'm not going to go into all the details and everything, but I'm very specific with these guys. And I tell them, look, I don't want to waste my time unless I believe your stock is going to be a 10 bagger, because frankly, I cannot afford to waste time with stocks that merely, are going to double or triple. Okay. Because it's an opportunity cost. I can't focus on 30, 40 companies. And I'm not in the IR business where I'm trying to milk companies for a retainer every month. Like a lot of these guys, all these IR firms, whether, you can go through the whole list. I'm not into that. I'm into, getting a stock, from the ground floor, 10x, cashing out my options at 10x, moving on to the next deal. Okay, that's what I'm interested in doing. I'm interested in making a lot of money. Okay, and if a stock goes to only doubles, I'm basically missing out on something, on my attention, focusing my attention on something that could be a 10 bagger or whatever it is. At this stage in my life, I know what I'm good at. I'm focused, and I'm just focused on what interests me is in this is my art. Okay, I'm like the Leonardo da Vinci of stock promotion. Literally, there's really this is. I mean, again, this sounds very like I'm bragging, whatever it is, but it's a fact. If you look at all the numbers, everything else, it's just a fact. So I just want to basically promote stocks. Great companies bring great companies to the attention of investors, and get a couple of hundred baggers out there, and that's it. That's I'm not looking to change the world. I'm not looking to do whatever. I don't want to have 5,000 clients. I just want to have a handful of clients that are going to be performing exceptionally well. So what happens is these CEOs, all of a sudden, they know what's expected of them. They know the standard that's expected of them. So they strive to live up to that standard. It's an interesting phenomenon. It's a cycle. There was a test conducted, I think in schools with school teachers. I think a school teacher. I think you guys will know what I'm talking about. But I think a school teacher was given a class of students, and these were just regular students. I mean, they're like some of these kids might have been like morons, but the teacher was told that this is the bright kids. This is the what do they call it? These kids have like super high IQs or whatever it is. So that teacher had very high expectations, and all of a sudden, the kids that year they performed exceptionally well. They got super high marks because when you have high expectations for somebody, they usually try to live up to those expectations if there's a relationship of some sort, right? So it's just the way human nature is, right? So what happens is, these guys, they feel pressure, because they know that they got to deliver news flow, they got to deliver results. Listen, it's very easy for everybody to say, yeah, we're going to have a super stock, we're going to maximize shareholder value. Every CEO says it. Every public company CEO says it. They're all full of shit, okay? Not everybody can do it. This is it's hard work. It requires focus. It's a lot of pressure. Not everybody can handle that pressure. Okay, so what happens a lot of times is when a company gets to be a 10-bagger at that point, or even a 5x, 8x. A couple things happen. One is obviously it's human nature. CEO's ego expands. They think, hey, I did this all by myself. This is my stock was a nickel. Now it's, $1, $2. I'm a genius, etc. I don't need to do any promotion. I'll just, I don't need retail investors. I'll just, meet with institutional analysts now because I'm too big for retail. That's some of these guys get that into their heads. It's just human nature. It's not a specific, it's, if I was in that position, I might say the same thing. I don't know. And then, once they're no longer on Wall Street Report, a platform which has that 10x, 100x expectation of them, they kind of slack off. They don't have it. Nobody has expectations of these guys, and there's no standards. Nobody holds them accountable. Look, that's probably one of the reasons that you see a lot of these stocks drop off. Some of these companies have good fundamentals, everything else, but some of them, that's one of the reasons I believe, and I think it's an important reason for that phenomenon. By the way, I just want to be very clear. I'm not saying that company is not on Wall Street Report, it's no good or whatever. I'm not bad mouthing companies. I'm not here to bad mouth. There's people say that Jack bad mouths former clients or whatever it is. I don't badmouth any. The only company I badmouth is one company. It's Skylight, and not the company. I'm not badmouthing. I'm badmouthing the CEO, and I'll explain that later because the guy did a couple things, and I'm a shareholder. Okay, so it's the guy needs to perform. I'll go into that in just a second, but yeah, I don't badmouth companies, and I think when a contract with a company ends. People want to, everybody asks on Discord or everywhere are you still working with them? Are you still, what am I supposed to say? I am. I mean, look, I talked about this before, like some investors, whether it was Peak FinTech, Next Tech, whatever it is, they fall in love, they start drinking the Kool-Aid, and if anybody that has any contrarian viewpoint or whatever, or if I'm no longer working, all of a sudden I'm the bad guy. Hey, just because I'm not working with the company doesn't. The company could be fine. It's for whatever reason. Maybe they don't want to pay. Maybe I'm just not interested. If the company becomes a 10-bagger, I mean, where's it going to go from there? I'm not going to continue with them because it's not going to go from 10x to, I don't know, 50x, 100. Unless there's some massive momentum. It's a very unique situation. So, yeah. Anyway, Relic. No, good fundamentals as far as I know. They just they decided they don't need the promotion. I guess whatever. It's none of my business. I don't really care. It's not my business. So anyway, yeah, I'm not saying anything bad about Relic. I don't, the people have, I don't, everybody's got this, that, whatever, who knows. It's not a cheap service, okay? We're charging a decent amount of cash. And, some companies we've had, like, were paying less money in the past. Maybe they don't want to pay more money. I don't know, like, whatever. So let's get into some stocks. Enough about me. Let's talk about stocks. Okay, Pharma Drug, PHRX, massive, going to be one of the biggest stocks of all time. Wow, this guy, who's king of whoever this guy is? I don't know who this guy is, but thank you for the super chat. Yes, multiple shots on goal. Yeah, I mean, we're not going to talk about the fundamentals here, but yeah, this is going to be, I believe, a $1 plus stock. Okay, next on the list, next on the hit parade. In no particular, actually, yeah, let me go in kind of an order here because I want to kind of go into things that are moving a little bit. Okay, paid XTMIF. We have a couple of new clients that we signed up in the last few months. It's been a rough time to launch a campaign. So, you haven't seen big action. Again, January, listen, from December, January, February, the market was really horrible for all stocks. But anyway, look at this chart. To me, this looks like a massive bounce coming up. You have this big pennant happening here. Let me draw you this. I think this stock. Oh, what happened here? Okay, this is more or less your support line. Okay, you got this big pennant happening, and when it breaks out, I think it's going to go to like $2 or something. I think this thing could. Yeah, I'm basically looking at kind of the math. It's going to move in direct proportion to kind of how long it's coiling. So. I'm not able to articulate my theory here, but why I know it sounds crazy, but yeah, basically, if you kind of do the geometry here, okay, maybe not. Yeah, $1.50 easily $1.50. So yeah, so basically watch the break at above 35 cents, 38 cents. Once the stock breaks above 38 cents, you could see some fireworks here. Companies in the fintech space, great CEO, great people involved. I think they might have some news this week, so keep an eye on this stock. There you go, 1 hour chart breaking above the moving average. Bullish. This is very bullish. Again, 4 hour chart, double bottom, breaking above the moving average, closing. So, okay, if you're looking for a quick hit this week for all you degenerate day traders, XTM paid, PAID, Canada, XTMIF, over the counter US, could be a winner. Okay. XTMIF. Let's go to Liquid Avatar. Here's a crazy stock. Metaverse NFT space, again, breaking above the moving average, 4 hour chart. Okay, so this chart is kind of okay. So you got this. What do you call it? I got to clear this thing here. You kind of have the same thing happening here. You got this pennant happening where it could break out to like 50 cents. Previous high in the stock was, yeah, I guess in that kind of 50-cent type of range. Do I think this stock can go to 50 cents? Oh, yeah, by the way, we introduced this stock last year. Yeah, wow, shit, it's been long. So we introduced this at 13 cents. This was right, when things were really crazy, when, people wanted to, were willing to pay all sorts of money to know the introductions in advance, whatever it is. Not that we do that, but yeah, 13 cents. As soon as we announce it, stock starts running. It doubles in one day. Actually, tripled in like 2 days. So this is this is going to be back. So yeah, it's been consolidating for the last year. Guys, actually delivering some interesting stuff. I think you got a pennant happening here. It's going to be breaking out from here, 17 cents. You know what? I think this thing has a shot of 50 cents, possibly $1, but 50 cents I think is in sight. Very hot space. I mean, metaverse. What else do I got to tell you? This is going to be one of the big themes. It's already one of the big themes this year. So when they're selling virtual land, this crazy virtual land stuff, I mean, I don't get it, but it's like Bitcoin and all that. Speaking of which, let me pull up the Bitcoin chart because Bitcoin is one of our, I apologize, I didn't pull up Bitcoin, but Bitcoin is one of the, it's the canary in the coal mine. And Bitcoin is above the moving average, the 50 moving average, possible double bottom. This could be a very powerful chart. Let's see what happens in the next couple of days. But you know what? It's interesting. It's made a higher bottom, a higher low than last time, than here, right? So, before, I think it was a while back, I said, hey, this is going to be 100,000, whatever it is. I was saying that, I think, 18 months ago when it was 20,000. So, I think this thing has a shot of 100,000 plus. I think it's going to overshoot. It might go absolutely bonkers. And then it could come crashing down. Who knows? Look, you got to play it by ear. We're in a very strange market right now. Again, you got this, we're in a black swan market. You got a lot of crazy shit happening right now in the world. So you just have to play it by ear. Right now, it's in an uptrend. Let's look at the short term. 1 hour. Uh-oh. Spoke too soon. So this is the 1 hour chart of Bitcoin. It's below the moving average. It looks like it might be dropping off a little bit. Maybe it'll drop to 39, find some support. You got support here in this 39,000, 38,000 range. I mean, I don't want to get too crazy here, yeah, but yeah, I don't know if I would take this too seriously, because it's hasn't spent too much time there, but yeah, if the 4 hour, I think it's going to be okay. I think Bitcoin is actually back in the uptrend. Okay, so you got Liquid Avatar looking really good. Now let's go to OG, one of our favorite stocks, Organic Garage. Look at this V-shaped bottom. Very powerful bottom. Very powerful bottom. Oh, this is the 4 hour chart. Sorry about that. Yeah. Okay. So there you go. There is your, let me draw you the trend line. Okay. So let's call it like right around here. I'm cheating a little bit. Okay. It could be a little bit lower, a little bit higher. Basically it's around there. You got another one a little bit higher. It doesn't mean it's going to exactly go there or below, above. Basically, that's where you're kind of at. So, OG, Organic Garage, is in the uptrend. It's below the moving average. So, I mean, technically, the overall trend is still down. It's got to break above 30 cents. It's got to break above 30 cents. Realistically, we got to clear 32 cents. 35 cents. Once the stock clears 32, 35 cents, it's going to be game on. Look, I mean, I don't want to like spend an hour going through this, but there's multiple ways, multiple paths for this thing to be a $2 stock. I know it sounds crazy, you know, watch the videos, you know, it's out there. Even a $12, $10, $12 stock. Now, $10, $12 is not going to be in a year. It might take a little bit longer, but yeah, look, this company has everything. It's got all the key ingredients. You know, the only problem is I hate to say this. Look, you know, Matt, the CEO, is a very conservative guy. He's not a promoter. You know, it's like whatever he says, you basically got to double it because he's very conservative. He doesn't want to, like, you know, make projections, this, that, whatever. So, you know, if look, if this was like if this was like Evan from Nextech running OG, the stock would have been $12 already now. I guarantee you this. Would it sustain $12? Who knows? But yeah, so whatever Matt says, basically you got to take whatever the numbers are and just double it. Again, not you know, this is not a recommendation to buy, sell securities, but yeah, the guy's very conservative. I think basically once they're going to announce the 4 new stores, that's what's going to move the stock. I know everybody thinks it's the plant food, all that other brand stuff. Could be, possibly. To me, I'm looking at the store business as massive upside because I understand the power of retail as a scalable type of business. And again, they're doing almost 30 million right now with 4 stores. They're going to open 4 stores just like that. I mean, they're going to announce it because they're working on the leases right now, right? So if you read their last press release, essentially, if you read between the lines, they're in the process of negotiating the leases. How long does that take? You know, usually lease negotiation, you know, these aren't that complicated, right? But it could be, you know, it could be a 4-week process. Could be usually, you know, I mean, there's a lot of deal points. I mean, it could be, you know, 4 6 weeks. They've been at it for a while already. They've identified properties. My guess is that he's got a couple. He's negotiating a bunch of leases right now, and just like that, you know, they're going to announce, hey, we're going to be launching 4 new stores, and yeah, the market will wake up. I believe that is going to happen I think that can happen by the end of April. I think that can happen by the end of April, and the stock is going to run to $1. Why? Because the market's going to project forward 60 million revenues. Let's call it 2x multiple, 100 million. That's not even a big multiple. 2x for growth, nothing. So 100x. How many shares out they have? 50 million, right? 50 million. So it's $2. $2 a share. Okay, Dan Cohen, PHRX this Wednesday. We're going to be posting. It's going to be this Wednesday. Yeah, we got a bunch of companies coming on this week, and of course, we have the 100-bagger potential penny stock. If you want to know that stock, we're only going to announce it on the Telegram channel. You want to get on that? Click the link in the video description below, in the video description of the YouTube here, Wall Street Reporter. To get this access to this information, valuable information. Okay. I'm going to get to the audience questions in just a little bit. I just want to run through a couple more charts. I'm going to get to everything in just a second. Okay, so OG is looking really good. Visby. Now, okay, speaking of CEOs that need to be promotional, Jay, you know, I reached out to him. I don't know what's going on with this guy. There's really no excuse not to be doing the Wall Street Reporter live stream. That's what got you to where you are, pal. Okay, so again, we introduced this thing at, was it 17 cents? Hit a high of $2. So you know, hit a high of $2, pulled back a little bit, you know, with the market pulled back. Listen, frankly, the reason why the stock is where it is we haven't had an interview with Jay since December. I've reached out to the guy, you know, multiple times, right? I see he's doing other interviews. I don't know. Maybe he's upset. Something. I don't know. Look, you know what? I don't really care. We're gonna get things moving one way or the other here, and I think this thing is gonna has a shot of making at least $2 again. But yeah, the only reason it's here is because we haven't had Jay on the program. And look, they should be putting out a little bit more news. They definitely have a ton of news they could be putting out. Okay, again, this guy is not super promotional. He's not a super hype guy. I think for some reason he wants to be a little bit conservative. But that's hurting the stock. Okay, it's hurting the stock. I mean, if the guy was on the program, if he had news, would be at $2 right now. So that's what's going on over there. Okay, I am not thrilled here because I'm actually a shareholder at this point. Okay, so not just a paid promoter. Not I'm not just a paid prostitute. I'm actually at this point a shareholder because I've exercised my options. So I gotta see the stock moving up. I'm gonna start pushing here. So let's go here. Let's see what else is going on here. Yeah, I think look, you know what? I think I've been a little bit too nice with some of these guys, and I'm gonna have to, start cracking the whip. I mean, I don't have patience for this, underperformance. There's no reason for this stock, a company with these type of fundamentals, to be trading where it is. This should be minimum $2 stock right now. Okay, so we got to have news flow, and we got to have visibility, CEO visibility. Okay, without that, there's going to be issues with the stock. Okay, let's pull up. Okay, let's pull up a couple of new stocks. These are a couple of new companies that new clients we've signed on, which these are relatively new. So the charts are not mature charts; they're really like undeveloped charts. Like even the PHRX chart is kind of awkward. It's kind of like it hasn't traded that much, even though it's about a year. So, oh, you got a trend line here. Okay, so First Energy Metals, a lithium play. It is look, lithium is going to be a hot mover this year. I mean, lithium is essential for the EV batteries. We're kind of our role is to get more exposure with the U.S. investors, which we started about a week back in March, early March. So, hey, look, as you can see, the U.S. volume. So, if you want to know what Wall Street Report does, look at this chart. Okay, people wonder, what does this guy do? This guy is the worst interview. Look, Jack Marks. This is a fact. Okay, Jack. This is, by the way, this is not a joke. Jack Marks is the most unprofessional, worst interviewer of all time. So, but for some reason, these interviews are effective. I don't want to share. There is a reason. I know what the reason is. I can't. It's a crazy thing. I can't actually explain it in public. I've shared the secret with a few people off air because it's gonna the magician can't reveal his tricks. Okay, but yes, I agree that my interviews are basically retarded. Okay, there's people who do much better interviews. Although I invented the interview business. Although the 10,000 interviews we did, they were all done by staff of actual professional analysts or semi-professional, guys I trained. I'm not the most articulate person. I will agree to that. But so hey, let me explain to you what Wall Street Report does exactly. We create interest market support. So you can see what's been going on with the U.S. volume. The U.S. volume was non-existent, and now it's trading, a couple 100,000 shares a day in the U.S. Okay, I'll give you another example. Okay, Organic Garage. So they had no U.S. volume before we started with them in October, right? This is their chart, right? Nothing going on. This is the chart. It's like bare. It's naked. Nothing going on. As soon as we it starts trading U.S. volume, right? Trading, a couple 100,000, 600,000 shares a day, big day, 200. It's been quiet the last few months, but look, the thing is still trading volume. So that's one of the things that we do. That's how you know that Wall Street Reporter is effective versus, let's just say, some people who, for example, take credit for for some of the results that we've delivered. I'll give you an example. I'm just gonna. I don't want to embarrass this guy, but okay. Here's a former client. We haven't done anything with these guys quite a while. Happy again. You guys remember the stock we brought on last year? They had a CEO change, whatever. Very interesting company. I mean, if the guys would have kind of continued with the thing, it could have been a $20 stock. Again, new CEO. I like this guy, a very sharp guy. But look what's going on here. This thing, when we were working with them, it was trading 100,000 shares a day, even when the market was bad, 50,000. Now, they're using some clowns out there who and I think they probably signed up with these guys because they said, oh yeah, we were responsible for CBDT, for Fans Unite, for whatever it is, and you can see what's going on. This thing is trading zero. It's trading 1,000 shares, 1,000 shares a day, 2,000. That's $600 basically. Okay, so whoever is promoting Happy right now should be ashamed of themselves. That is what it is. I mean, this is a stock that should be doing much better, but hey, without proper promotion, this thing is like a tree in the forest that falls and nobody hears it. It just, it's very sad because, if this thing stays here, it's going to essentially go bust at some point. Okay. Here's a new stock we introduced. This is very interesting. Brand new to the market. The chart is non-existent yet. Deep Market, MKT, MKTDF, over the counter, Deep Market. Check out the videos. What do these guys do? What do they do? It's the craziest thing. Have you guys heard of climate change, the climate crisis? I personally, not my thing. I don't believe in it. But it's not going to stop. It's not going to get in the way of, business, right? The climate, what do you call it? Carbon credits. It's a $1 trillion asset class. Okay. Essentially, look, the governments around the world are imposing this tax on, it's a tax basically for people who produce, pollution, right? So essentially they're paying a tax. They have to buy carbon offset. They have to buy carbon offsets, and somebody who produces clean energy or whatever, they do clean stuff, they get carbon credits. So, it's a great system. But anyway, bottom line is these guys are monetizing. They're taking these carbon credits from the producers of carbon credits, monetizing them onto the blockchain as NFTs. Now, why would you want to buy a carbon credit NFT? Why? Two reasons. One is the prices are going up. It's like Bitcoin, basically. Carbon credits are like Bitcoin. Bitcoin is, I think it's going to 100,000. Is it a fugazi? Kind of. What's behind? I don't know. Carbon credits are actually a little bit more legit, and it's an asset class. They're actually increasing in value. So, carbon credits could be a 10x from here. I mean, I think that there's research out there. It's going to be a huge, huge investment theme. Okay, carbon credits, I believe, will be as big as crypto. Maybe not as big, but like 10% as big in the coming months. So you want to get positioned ahead of this right now. Anyway, so what they're doing is they're taking these credits, they're turning them into NFTs, putting them on the black, and people can trade them. So you can have, I was making a joke, like, you have this NFT with these apes or whatever it is, the bored apes. So because these guys are in the carbon business, I said, these could be like, farting apes, right? So it's like a farting ape NFT. And you trade these NFT, it actually has value behind it because, it's not just a bullshit ape. It's a carbon credit that an institutional trading desk will buy. I mean, they're not going to buy a $5 worth of credit, but Goldman Sachs has a carbon credit trading desk. I mean, every bank has a trading desk for carbon credits. Watch the video, Deep Market, MKTDF. The chart is brand new, not a lot of data. I can't even talk about the chart. But watch the video. There's going to be a lot of action happening with this. Okay, let me see if I'm going to jump into the audience questions in just a second. New Rand. Here's another one of our new stocks. Interesting chart. Interesting chart. What do these guys do? Amazing business. This is an amazing, amazing business. Watch the videos we have with the CEO, Francis. This stock could be a $10, $12, 20. Forget about this. Could be a $20 stock. Watch the video where we explain the fundamentals, how exactly, what is the path for this, dollar stock to be $20 stock in the next. It's not going to happen in 6 months. It's going to be 2 years for it to be $20. Potentially. I'm not saying it's going to be there. What do? They put up cell phone towers in third world countries, mainly in Africa. Africa, by the way, massive, massive market opportunity. It's really the last market to be developed. I mean, it used to be Asia, 10, 20 years ago was China. That was the big, that was the big market opportunity. Now Africa is the last big market, multi-billion dollar market. They're putting up cell phone towers. Watch the video where he explains exactly, why, what the business is. They get a revenue share per tower, recurring revenues per tower. It's a simple mathematical model. They got they have a contract to put up, I think it was at 2,000 towers. So it's not like they have to find business. They already have the contracts. All they got to do is put up the towers. They get financing from these development banks. I mean, there's ESG. That's all these do-gooders that want to do I don't know what do you call it, socially acceptable, whatever it's called, social governance. Listen, the reality is this. I make jokes about it, but look, this company is actually changing people's lives, right? I mean, this company is changing people's lives because, look, communication, you take it for granted that you got your phone, but communication, the cell phone is, especially let's say you're in the third world, right? You're in Africa, you're in a village, and there's no phone, nothing, right? By the way, they're not putting landlines in these countries. It's all they're jumping ahead right to wireless now, right? So nobody's doing wires. So, when you're in a village in one of these places, right? What does a cell phone give you? First of all, it's banking, because in Africa right now, again, they've leapfrogged. So, transactions are mobile. They buy, sell. Banking is done through mobile. Look at the stock Jumia, JMIA. I should pull it up later, but yeah, why did that stock run? Because it's an e-commerce company focused on Africa. Massive market upside. So when you have a phone in Africa, here's what you get. You get obviously you get your financial stuff. Number two, healthcare. Education, you needed to talk to a doctor, telemedicine, whatever it is. You got to call a doctor. Let's say somebody's dying, right? How do you get to the doctor from whatever one of these NGOs that are out there? You got your phone. You can call, right? You get education. You get jobs. I mean, everything. So it changes people's lives. So yeah, it's a good thing. Look, when you own the stock, not only do you make money, but hey, if if it helps people out, why not, right? So I think that's going to attract some of these ESG institutional funds. Chart's looking real good here. We got a double bottom. It's got to break above $1.30. That's the moving average. Okay, it's got to break above this $1.30. Looks like we might be on the way, right? You got your 4-hour chart. You got your double bottom very clearly pointed out on this chart. Double bottom. It's got to break above $1.20 short term to be in bull mode. Once that happens, I think this thing is going to be on track, and this thing could do great things. I really believe this Neuran can do tremendous things. So let's get into some audience questions here. Okay, Pharma Drug, we talked about that. Yeah. 100. Okay, I don't know about 100x. I think PHRX Pharma Drug has a path to at least 50 cents. very possibly $1 next 12 months. By the way, what I love about the biotech sector, things, can change overnight. I mean, one of our biggest winners was Cytodyne. Does anybody remember Cytodyne? CYDY, a stock we introduced at, I don't know if it was 35, it was 50 cents. It was 50 cents. It dropped to 35 cents. Oh my God. And then from 35 cents, it went to $10 over the next 9 months. $10. I'm sorry, I'm exaggerating. It didn't go to $10. It went to $10.01. Exactly, $10.01. I don't want to be accused of exaggeration. So $10, 1 cent, 20 bagger basically. Yeah, so we're going to be introducing a massive, massive, huge winner. Yeah, okay, so yeah, the black swans are in the market. So there's a lot of, we talked about earlier. I went into that. So yeah, so again, we know whose fault it is. It's not, it's hard. You can't just blame Biden. For some reason, right now, we have very, very bad leadership in the Western world. It's really ironic. So look. I mean, you guys are. Let's say some of you guys are in Canada. I mean, this guy Justin Trudeau. Like, I mean, I'm not getting involved in other countries, whatever. But yeah, this guy's a complete moron. I mean, from the beginning, he's been a complete moron. So yeah, they need to bring back, like, I don't know, get Conrad Black as the prime minister. But yeah, but where is it better? I mean, you got in the UK, they got this guy with the hair who's like I don't know, another low life. You got Macron in France. The guy is married to he's basically married to his mom. I mean, this is a guy who's like, what is he? He's like 35 or something. A young, good-looking guy. He's married to like an 80-year-old woman. I think this guy married a school teacher or some weird. It's some weird stuff. I think there was a rumor going around that she was a transsexual. I think she sued somebody. This is actually. I think there's a newspaper. I think it was one of the London publications that said that she was a transsexual, and I think she sued them for libel. And I think the lawsuit is ongoing. So we're going to find out if she is or she is not, in fact, a transsexual. Could be. I don't know. You never know, right? I mean, it's a little weird, right? The guy's very left wing. He's kind of an asshole. Very, very, very cocky French guy. Real attitude. As they say in Texas, all hat, no cattle. This is what this guy Macron is. They need. We got to get rid of this liberalism in the Western world. Listen, the only people who are doing a good job, frankly, for their countries is this guy in China. What's his name? Xi, right? I mean, look, these are dictators, right? Putin. Okay, now Putin. I listen. Putin, whatever you say, before the whole Ukraine thing, the guy was doing a great job for Russia. I mean, he was, a real Russian patriot, and he was taking care of his country. I'm actually from, Kiev. I was born there. I spent the first 6 years of my life in that city. Right? It's really it's a shame what's going on right now, because these countries, it makes absolutely no sense that this invasion is happening. I actually did not believe. I think on a live stream I said that it's not going to happen. He's just going to be at the border, saber rattling. I think he was pushed into it. I think Putin was pushed into invading the Ukraine really by Biden and NATO. Yeah, I mean, if you look at the comments that Biden was making before the invasion, it was, it's imminent, and this, and what's his name, Zelensky in Ukraine, saying, why are you saying this? Like, don't like, shut your mouth, right? Like, I mean, this guy Biden really complete moron. It's really, the truth of these things is going to come out years from now, right? Like, it's going to be like the JFK assassination, right? Like, who did it? Look, only now we're finding out that the Hunter Biden laptop is actually legit, right? What was the mainstream media saying? Oh, it's a Russian, what do they call it? Russian misinformation. No, it's all legit. The guy's a fucking lowlife. Hunter Biden is a lowlife, degenerate, drug addict, possibly a pedophile. I mean, they say there's underage girls on there. Possibly a pedophile. We'll find out. Look, the apple does not fall far from the tree. I mean, Joe Biden, I've said this before, the guy is an absolute scumbag, okay? I'm not trying to disrespect the president. People, but again, if you want to know the character of Joe Biden, I would say this: watch the debate with 2008, the vice presidential debate with what's the guy, Paul Ryan. Watch the way this guy behaved, and everybody's saying, "Oh, Joe Biden, he's so presidential," and Donald Trump, "Oh, he says all the wrong. He's so like uncouth and whatever." I gotta tell you, a lot of people miss Trump now. I think even the left wingers miss Trump, and you're gonna miss him even more. 2024 is he needs to be reelected as dictator for life. We gotta have Emperor Trump for life, and after that, it's gotta be a family like Trump Jr. Everything else. This democracy thing is really not working out. We got to turn the U.S. Might have to be a dictatorship. Might have to be a dictatorship. I mean, it worked for Rome for quite a while, right? So why not? Okay, so can you explain why you badmouth? I'm okay. So I think I said something on Twitter. Maybe some people got their panties in a twist or whatever. Here's what it comes down to. I'm not bad-mouthing Skylight. I'm actually a shareholder, unfortunately. Okay, and here's the situation. We did a promotional marketing campaign for Skylight last year. The stock did very well. Massive volume came in. Pratt was able to raise millions of dollars as a result of the liquidity, the market visibility that we brought to Skylight. And he got to NASDAQ as a direct result of that, right? Now, one of the things in our packages, we have options, right? We got a package of options. By the time I exercised the options, because I thought that Pratt would renew with the program, and the way the option thing was set up is because I'm in the US, it's difficult to exercise to get a free. There's a whole process, right? So I wasn't eager to write a check for let's call it 300 grand Canadian until I knew there was some visibility into that I'd be able, the stock would keep moving, right? I don't want to be holding options in a company or stock in a company. Really, I don't want to be holding stock in one of these companies unless I'm able to have some impact on the stock price, right? In terms of getting more investor eyeballs to it, and then the stock, moves up, right? I'm not a passive investor. I mean, I don't want to be investing in some, thing here, right? I'm not here. This is not, So anyway, bottom line is, Pratt jerked me around a little bit. Says, yeah, we're going to renew NASDAQ, okay, which is fine, whatever. Anyway, I exercised the options. I sent them, $300,000, okay, Canadian. And now the shares I'm supposed to get, DRS, it's supposed to be free trading, okay, because of the regular, it's 4-month hold, US, even if you're in the US, 4-month hold. And because I want to sell those shares right away. I'm not here to be a shareholder in this. I'm not doing any work with a company. I want to move on, right? I give you 300 grand. I want free trading shares. That's the way it's supposed to be. That by law, right? All of a sudden, though, a week goes by, no DRS, no thing. I say, hey, I don't hear anything. I said, all of a sudden, 10 days later, I get a thing from Pratt. Some NASDAQ. Your shares. There's now a 6-month hold now because there were some bullshit. So basically, either he was lying, his team was lying, or he's incompetent and his team is incompetent. Okay. Bottom line is the stock was substantially higher. I think it was in the $5+ range. So $200,000 profit is now where the stock is a $200,000 loss. Okay, which somebody is going to have to cover, and it ain't going to be me because somebody did not deliver shares, free trading shares, when they were supposed to be delivered. So, there may be a lawsuit involved. I've had to sue publicly traded companies before. I've had big settlements. I have, great legal representation. I've sued in New York Stock Exchange companies, and, very successfully. So, hopefully it doesn't happen. Hopefully we don't get to that point, because, it'd have to be, federal court in New York. It would be very expensive for Skylight. And, anyway, and I would look, bottom line is I wasn't pushing hard, because I was told by people, sort of affiliated with the company. Oh yeah, these guys, you got to give. I said, hey, what this guy? Look, I'm holding the stock. It's dropped, and what's going on here? This guy's not putting out any news. The stock keeps dropping. Now it's bad enough that the guy screwed up this transaction. Now this thing is really looks like it's going to zero. They have to put out some news. I know they have the fundamentals, right? They have some, what's going on? Everything was going great before they got on NASDAQ. They were putting out news. They were doing a lot promotion, whatever it is. Skylight does not have to go on Wall Street Reporter. I don't want him on Wall Street Reporter. He can sign up with another, service, whatever it is. Put out some news, right? Put out some fucking news. I mean, you got enough stuff in your company where you could have had weekly, bi-weekly news flow for the last 6 months. And, he abandoned his retail investors because, I guess he got a big ego thinking, oh, now I'm on NASDAQ. I'm only going to deal with institutions. Well, guess what? You're a small fish. You're a minnow in a big pond. Nobody cares about your stock in the U.S. unless you make them care about it. And it's not going to be institutions. So institutions aren't buying your stock. You need retail. And that's why stock is in a toilet where I'm not even going to pull up the chart, but its volume is non-existent. Anyway, I hope it goes back so that we don't have to get into any nastiness, because I will do that unless I see some sort of turnaround here. I may have to do it anyway, because this is, I think basically we were defrauded. Okay, so we may have to take action. Anyway, so that is it. But yeah, I'm not saying anything bad about Skylight. I'm just saying that Prad Shekar is incompetent. So, and it's a shame, because the guy actually, look, very charismatic guy, phenomenal salesman, sharp guy, right? Smart guy. The stock was responding so well when he was doing the live streams, right? Investors love this guy. I mean, imagine this. A guy gets onto NASDAQ. I mean, that is like, for a company to go from the OTC market, from the Canadian market, to get onto NASDAQ is like, that's like the Super Bowl of finance, as we call it. NASDAQ, I mean, that's the big time. NASDAQ is the big time. There's so many companies that would, if they had that opportunity, they wouldn't blow it. This guy, as soon as he goes into NASDAQ, all of a sudden, it's like you don't hear from the guy again. It's almost like Tom Brady. I don't want to compare Pratt to Tom. I mean, Pratt is a talented guy. He's not a Tom Brady, but imagine Tom Brady with all this guy's talent, all the hard work. And listen, by the way, Pratt, I believe, is a hardworking guy. I believe he worked very hard to get the company onto NASDAQ and all the work he did. But to get all that, imagine Tom Brady does all that. He gets into the Super Bowl, and you know what? He gets onto the field, and he says, "Hey, you know what? I don't want to play the game. I'm gonna, go and sell ice cream in the stands or something, or some bullshit like that." So I think that's basically what Pride did. The guy is like, maybe it's fear of success. I think it could be fear of success. One of the problems some CEOs have, a lot of CEOs have, public company CEOs, human beings in general, right? It's a human problem. Some people are afraid of failure, right? Some people are afraid of failing. I think what's worse, though, is fear of success, where some CEOs, they're in a comfortable place, and they don't want to push themselves to the limit. They're afraid if something is going to happen. I don't know, for whatever reason. If the guy has $1 stock, maybe he's afraid that, if he becomes worth, $500 million, all of a sudden, I don't know, he may have to, you know, I don't know, he's gonna go crazy or something. I don't know. It's an actual human problem. Some people are afraid of success, and maybe that's his issue. Anyway, I don't like this. I don't, you know, at this point, I'm a shareholder. This is not an ex-client situation. I'm a shareholder, like you people who are shareholders of Skylight right now, and I am pissed, as you should be pissed, okay? Because you are being screwed by Prad at this point. A guy who's not putting out news for 6 months, he's not doing his job. The number one job of a CEO of a public company is to maximize that stock price, to make that stock go up. It's not about running a business. Running a business is private companies, all that stuff, okay? That's where you have CEO, you know, chief operating officers, you have all that. Yeah, that's right. It's a hard job. Running a public company is a very hard job, okay? Because yes, you got to run a business, but at the same time, you got to manage a stock price. And investors, at the end of the day, care about the stock price. I mean, believe me, nobody cares if Skylight, for example, you know, tomorrow they said, hey, we lost $100 million, but the stock price goes to $20. That's what people want. They want the stock to go to $20. Nobody cares about the business at the end of the day. Believe me, whether it's institutions, retail, you know. Okay, let's move on. Let's move on. Yes, that is absolutely correct. A couple of other stocks, CloudMD, same thing happened. DOC, former client, that was a 5-bagger. Could have been a 10-bagger. Again, this guy Hamza, you know, CEO of CloudMD, super talented guy, was doing phenomenal with retail, great engagement. Dropped the ball. It's a disgrace. The DWAC Trump thing, I think, is bullshit. I think it's like, you know, I think it's bullshit. I think it's gonna be bullshit. Okay. Let's see. 100% right. The CEO is extremely important for these stocks. I'll tell you how important. This is one of the reasons why we do. Look, the whole reason why we started with these CEO interviews back in the day was a very simple concept that in a publicly traded company, you know, listen, at the end of the day, if you're a venture capitalist, right, you know, what do you invest in? It's management. Just like in real estate, you know, they say location. In investing, it's management. You want people who are smart, hungry, motivated, can pivot, and take advantage of opportunities and don't fumble the ball, right? Example, case in point, Airbnb, right? Airbnb. These guys, I think they were selling cereal they had some weird cockamamie, some bullshit business which didn't work. And they pivoted. They said, hey, we're going to lease out mattresses. It was a weird idea. I thought it was, whatever. It worked out very well, right? So these guys were able to pivot. I'll give you another example. This is for old timers. I mean, this might be, nobody watching this even knows what this is, but one of the great CEOs of the 20th century, of the 70s, 80s, this was a legend of the 1980s, during the boom of the 80s, the Gordon Gekko era. Steve Ross, Time Warner. There was a book written about this guy. I mean, this guy's a legendary CEO, Steve Ross. Absolutely brilliant. He ran Time Warner, which owned, Warner Brothers, the movie studios, a bunch of other businesses, Atari. He basically invented the video game. They bought Atari, the video game business. Anyway, the guy started off. How did he start off? He started off with a funeral parlor. He was working for his in-laws. They had a funeral service company in New York. They took it public. They merged it with but the guy was a very, very ambitious guy. Okay, he was basically working for his in-laws, and he had big dreams. He said, I'm going to really do something here. I'm not just going to be Yeah, this guy was not afraid of success. Absolutely not. This guy had an incredible imagination, seizing opportunities, and he basically this was the 1960s. This was at the time it was the conglomerates were in favor, and he merged with a parking lot company that had parking lots in New York City. It was, I think, called Kinney Parking or Kinney System. Kinney Systems. This was it. So now it became a company with funeral homes and parking lots. Crazy, right? And next thing you know, somehow he bought some piece of real. The guy was a real wheeler dealer. Anyway, he ends up buying Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers had some problems. The company he bought it very cheap. And basically all the great movies of the 1970s from Warner Brothers, there was another guy, same thing, another conglomerate, a great CEO, Charlie Bluhdorn. He ran Gulf and Western, which owned Paramount, which was also a conglomerate of the 60s, high-flying stock. And of course, Charlie Bluhdorn actually, he was a business guy, but he was very, very, he had a very, very into the movies. And he was the guy that really pushed to have The Godfather made, all the great movies that Paramount did. He hired that guy, what's his name? The Kid Stays in the Picture. Great book, by the way, The Kid Stays in the Picture, which is Robert Evans, a Hollywood legend, Robert Evans. You should read the biography, Robert Evans, and The Kid Stays in the Picture. Highly recommended. Great book. So basically, look, Charlie Bluhdorn was basically a guy who was came to the U.S. after the war. I think he had like $2 in his pocket, and what did he started a sugar trading business or something and built it. The guy thought big, right? Became a multi-billion-dollar company, and I think he what did they do? Gulf and Western, I think, is disbanded, but they built a massive resort in Dominican Republic. Was it Caso Campo or something? Whatever it is. Very, very, very impressive guy. So the CEO is extremely important. I gave you a couple of examples where, a guy took something out of nothing and they were able to seize opportunities, okay? Seizing opportunities. I'll give you another example. Why it's important for a CEO who has big vision and can seize opportunities, can pivot. 18 months ago, one of our hottest stocks was Nextech. Stock we introduced at 40 cents, 50 cents, went to $7, so TenBagger, whatever it is. CEO Evan Gappelberg, great promoter. I really enjoyed working with him. We're not working any longer, but creative differences. Anyway, we had a phenomenal run from 40 cents, 50 cents to $8. And what did this guy do? They were in the augmented reality business. And they had some bullshit, whatever. They got some other thing. And next thing he buys this streaming company that did these webcasting conference thing, sort of like a Zoom. When did he buy it? In March 2000. He closed in April, I think, right? He seized that opportunity. They did some other acquisitions. And that was the acquisition of this, streaming. All of a sudden, Zoom took off, and that's the stock ended up going, and we had a phenomenal time. And by the way, I told you guys where the stock was going, and it ended up going there. So that is it. So the CEO is important, very important. That was a guy who knows how to pivot. And by the way, if you want to see an example of somebody who knows how to promote, this guy puts out news releases every week, nonstop. How does he do it? I don't know. There's no reason for other CEOs not to do it. Now, I think the problem is he's using, he's using these ineffective promotional services or whatever. I can go into all the other stuff, but the bottom line though is he's making an effort. Okay, the guy is making an effort, which is highly commendable. And I think that's all you can expect if a guy keeps pushing. This guy has, relentless, nonstop. That is the type of CEO that you want running a public company. I think Evan should become CEO of Skylight. And then you can see that thing really, go to like $50. Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah, so peak fintech. No, I think it's over. I think I told you guys months back. Yeah, so peak, we introduced that stock at 35 cents. Was it 18 months ago now? 15 months ago. 70 cents if you do post split. So it went from 70 cents to $14. I told you on the live streams, hey, this thing could break out to, right when it was going crazy, $10. I say, hey, this thing could maybe even go to 20, but 14 realistic. But that's it, basically. It's a good time to take profits, our contract with them was up, and look, it was $1 billion market cap company at the time. I said, look, no matter what you think of the fundamentals, it's from where the point where they were in the summer to go from $1 billion. Where is it going to go to 10 billion from $14? You think the stock is going to 50? There's a lot of problems. There's the business has some a couple of issues. You got the China. I don't want to go. I'm not here to knock the thing, whatever it is. But yeah, I think the thing had a good run. I don't think it's going to be 100 bagger. I think the move is done pretty much. And yeah, it might hang around here. Who knows? I don't know. Okay. I don't know. I don't know. He's been invited multiple times. We have not heard from him. He's been MIA. So, but I see he's doing interviews with whatever. He's doing interviews on, I don't know, some kids or whatever he's doing. Who knows? Maybe, yeah. I don't know. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, so we're not working with Trip. I'm actually a shareholder. Unfortunately, I'm holding the bag. It was this because I exercised the option. The U.S. It's a nightmare to because you have to remove the legend. It takes time, etc. It's a nightmare. Anyway, so unfortunately, I'm a shareholder right now at a price of I think 13 cents, I believe. So I'm underwater. Todd needs to start pumping out news. I mean, listen, this is enough. You got to start pumping out news. They got all sorts of stuff they could be doing. We got to get some action. And by the way, the psychedelic sector is waking up. Psychedelic sector is waking up. Who is this guy? I don't know who this guy must be a big shareholder or something. Okay. Yeah. So I'm not look, I'm not in touch with these guys yet. I may have to. I probably will this week. But yeah, we're gonna take action. Listen, it's unexcusable what's going on there. Quite frankly, it's unexcusable. Unexcusable. Let's see here. Okay, this week we're going to introduce a potential next super stock. Again, if you saw the Telegram post I had, I'm a believer in the stock. You'll see why very, very, very soon. I think this stock under 25 cents could be a 20 bagger in the next 6 months, maybe 100 bagger. Yeah, listen, look, it's not a thing where you want to. I don't take it personally. Like, when I actually expect that. Look, if you were in that situation, if you're all of a sudden, you went from whatever, your net worth went from I don't know, let's say $1 million to 50 or $100 million in 6 months. Your stock is, went from 10 cents to $1, and everybody's telling you that you're a genius now, right? it goes to your head. For most people, it goes to that. They think, hey, they did it all by the way, it's interesting. All the companies, we've had so many success stories. Only one CEO ever said thank you to me. Only one guy ever said thank you, and that is Alan Silverstein from Imagine AR. It's a stock we introduced at, I think, a nickel. Went to 50 cents. So it was a 10-bagger, no, 14-bagger, whatever it is. So Alan Silverstein, a class act. It's shocking. I was actually talking to another guy, kind of in a similar business. Actually worked at a lot of companies. Financing. I don't know financing these guys. He actually finances these companies. And, we were just talking. We're smoking a cigar and Martin. And I said, actually, this guy was involved with Peak FinTech. He introduced me to Peak FinTech and a couple of other stocks. I said, hey, I'm curious, how many of these guys, where you raise them like, $10, $20 million and, stock goes up. How many of these guys ever say thank you? And he's thinking. He said, not one. So it's just, look, the human beings are human beings. It is not, let's see. Raya. I don't know. Geez, here's the problem. This Raya, that was a disaster for us, kind of. Again, we were told they were going to have news flow. Again, very important. You got to have the news flow. I said, look, they told us that they would be putting out, they had a pipeline of news once a week at least. And it was I don't know. Look, the guy is a hardworking guy. I think he's pushing, but I don't know. Look, it's very, very important. I believe once we introduce a company on our platform, a company debuts, they got to put out in the first 6-8 weeks. It's a critical time. They got to show, they got to prove to you that, hey, this company is actually making progress. Because look, the premise of the next super stock is, what's the premise? The premise is we're bringing you these stocks which have a 10x to 100x upside potential, right? But what do they have? Yeah, they're going after these massive multi-billion-dollar opportunities. Okay, great. But why should you buy the stock now? They're at an inflection point, meaning that something has happened where all of a sudden the valuation is going to start changing. There are catalysts in place to ignite that growth. So there's things that are going to start to happen. And how do you show to the market that you're at the inflection point and there are catalysts? Well, it's news. Your news flow is proof to the market that you are either hitting milestones or you're progressing along a path of milestones. And which means what the message becomes that, okay, we have passed the inflection point. Now is the time to buy. Otherwise, the rocket is lifting off. That's the message. So if a company does not put out that news momentum in the first 6-8 weeks, there's a problem. There's a problem. All the successful companies we've had, they've all delivered the news flow, including PHRX, which was why I'm very happy with this thing. Because if you look at the PHRX, LMLF in US, is the guy's putting out news every week. He's meeting milestones. They got stuff going on. There's a lot of stuff in the pipeline. So, and they're delivering the goods. They're delivering the goods. And this is with very limited resources. Imagine once the stock starts trading 25, 50 cents, they're probably going to raise money at 50 cents. They're not raising money at these levels, right? So, they're going to raise a bunch of cash and they're going to be able to do some, big trials, etc., all that good stuff. So, so this is a key thing to watch. Bets. Yeah, I don't know. Bets. That was a disaster. Yeah, I don't want to even go into that. That was a crazy thing. That was the crazy. This was a lot of drama with the CEO. They fired the CEO. He says I think bets. My understanding is something might be happening there, so it might keep an eye on. Something might be happening there. They got a real business, so it's So yeah, bets. Yeah. Also, ESC. Yeah. So ESC, their contract was expired a few weeks ago. I haven't heard back. I mean, I don't know. They might renew. Might 50-50. I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know. But yeah, look, they're on a good path. So I wish them luck. And look, Conrad has been delivering news. So even if they don't decide to continue with the Wall Street report, I'm sure the stock will, will do well. Of course, it's not going to do as well as it could potentially. We know, but I think it's got a shot of going back to like $2 at least next couple of months. Maybe even the old highs. Let's see. Okay, did I cover everything? Shit! Wow, we're going 2 hour. Okay, a 2 hour live stream. Of course, I think we spent 30 minutes with bad internet, right? So, okay. All right, so we've covered everything. Bottom line this week, stocks to watch. PHRX, we could see an explosion. Neuran, very nice setup this week. Double bottom on the 4-hour chart. So this thing could be moving tomorrow. You got paid looking the same way. Look at this double bottom. This thing is ready to rock. It's closed above the moving average. So these are stocks that could run like, bigly. Liquid Avatar, again, 4 hours. Look at this. This thing could pop. This thing could run to like 30 cents, 50 cents. This thing could really start running big time. Big time. Liquid Avatar could go to $1 and go crazy. What else? Organic Garage. Really good looking chart here. V bottom. And you want to watch the breakout above 30 cents. If the stock closes above 31 cents, it is in buy mode. And I believe it's going to go to $1 plus. Visby, I think Visby is looking pretty good. It's a nice setup. I mean, the stock is basically waiting for a catalyst to move. It's looking for an excuse to go up. It's looking for it really. I mean, this company has developed. Look, I'll take credit for this. We've helped Visby develop a very loyal organic shareholder base. Much as we did for a lot of the big winners, whether it was Peak FinTech. I mean, Peak had a base, but we've really helped like build it up much greater. Of course, Nextech, a bunch of others. So these guys now have a really good shareholder base, and look, I think the stock has a shot to go to $2 again, and it could be very good. The chart's looking good. Again, it needs a catalyst. It needs some news. I don't care what the news is. Just put out some news. Get investors excited. There's nothing wrong with it. That's the job. Okay. What else? So yeah. So that's it. I think somebody was asking about fans. I'm actually, unfortunately, I'm a bag holder in fans. Again, it's from an option exercise. I really should have blown it out at $2, but you know what? The reason I didn't blow it out at $2 is because, look, we were still in the middle of our contract, and I'm a believer in the company. If we're still working, if we're still in the middle of a contract, I believe we can go higher. I actually do get high in my own supply. So I should have just dumped it at $2. But yeah, anyway, I think it's going to go back to probably $1.50. We'll see. Those guys also they gotta put out news. They got to be promoting. The space BKNG. I think it's bottomed out. Yeah, I mean, look, you can kind of see what's going on with these companies once, and when you stop effective promotion, volume and interest dries up, and it's a disservice to investors. I mean, it's really a disservice because, when you start, promoting the stock, you start engaging with investors. You know, it's like you know, it's basically what's the metaphor I should use? It's you know, it's sort of like guy meets a girl, right? And the girl basically expects that, hey, there's a future. They're going to get married. No, the guy just wants to sleep with her. That's it. And that's what this is basically. With these the CEOs who don't follow through on the commitment to connecting with investors once they start the process. It's a real shame because they leave a lot of money on the table. They leave a lot of opportunities, and it's hard to get that trust back once you screw shareholders. It's hard to get them back. It's very difficult to get them back. Anyway, things are looking good this week. PHRX. Make sure you click the link below in the video description to join our Telegram channel. I'm going to be announcing a stock which I believe has literally 100x potential. It's the people involved with this company have had multiple 30x, 50x, 50-bagger winners on NASDAQ. Okay, not penny bullshit, NASDAQ, real companies. So it's going to be yes. Here we go. Are you happy? There we go. So that is the deal. So yeah, so there is the chart, beautiful chart, PHRX stock, which we can see easy path to 20 cents, 25 cents. Hey, even if it goes to 25 cents, it's a 5x. That's not bad, right? But I think it's going to go a lot higher. So anyway, on that note, thank you everybody for watching. Thank you for your patience, especially with the slow start, with the technical issues. And it's all about promotion. The best story in the world is going to go nowhere unless investors hear about it. So this week, if you're a member of the Telegram channel, you will be on the ground floor of what, I think could be a massive stock. I mean, I've written a substantial check, cash money, into this deal. Okay, so I don't do that just for entertainment purposes. I'm doing it because I believe we have a real shot of a massive score. So if you want to join on this adventure, check out the Telegram channel and see you later this week. Live stream. We got PHRX, we got Liquid Avatar, we got the new company, and I think a couple of others. It's going to be an exciting week. So see you all later in the week.